let's make another video about Miss Tacker. How about we do that? Daisy, look. We're going to talk about Miss Tacker because she doesn't like Rhodesians like you and me. So let's talk about what Miss Tacker has done to me. She went and complained to the Grover Beach Police Department when I went in a meeting. I spoke in a meeting. I didn't say anything bad. I said my piece. I said I didn't appreciate Miss Tacker coming to my rate district because I'm a ratepayer and she is not a ratepayer, making these incessant demands which cause labor hours of our workers here in our rate district, and they're generating all these expenses for Mrs. Tacker. She's not a resident of our community. She's not a shareholder in our corporation of San Luis Obispo, meaning she does not own property. So she's not a ratepayer in our actual sanitation district. So she goes to these meetings and she makes these incessant demands for records and so forth to drive the local politicians crazy, okay, as well as the plan administrator. And we just went through a plan administrator, and we like this new one, Jeremy Giles. He's relatively working out good, but I'm not against her going in there and actually putting together something coherent about an issue that she's concerned with. But she brings in these half-baked ideas. Sometimes she's right. Again, a broken clock is correct twice a day, and she may get part of it right, but not the whole picture. So she comes in here, and again, she is not from our district. Why doesn't she prove herself in her own district? Well, you got to go back and look at her history. Mrs. Tacker is a failed politician from Los Osos. She was on the board of the sanitation district. She was in charge of it, and she drove it into the ground. Go look it up and read about it. So naturally, she can't even show her face in her own community now, show up to their board meetings, their community services board meetings. So she comes over here because somehow she knows better. So she couldn't fix her own community, and nobody has any faith in her at all because she lost her next campaign. And during her reign of terror over there, as people call it, during her reign of terror, she ended up having a child, unwedded, to another man, and they're both married, from what I understand. So this is what we're having. These people of low character coming over here, trying to tell us what to do in our own rate district. So I brought that to their attention. I didn't bring up all her trailer trash, salacious lifestyle. I didn't bring that up. I just brought up the fact that she is not a ratepayer in our district. She's not even a shareholder in our corporation. It's like a Russian coming over here and making incessant demands on the water company. Where do we stop? Okay, so it was very coherent, my argument, and people on the board really applauded me for making those comments, as well as the ratepayers of Oceano. Everybody applauded me because somebody finally stood up to this lady. So what did she do? She went and told the Grover Beach Police Department that, I was trying to be aggressive towards her, and my dog was trying to attack her and all this stuff. Everybody, you do realize the Grover Beach Police Department know this dog. They know this dog to be a tame, trained service dog and a lovable dog. They didn't believe one word she said. So she went and told them, and then she goes and writes an article about my dog being in there. So she's the biggest bigot because from what I realize is that she doesn't understand our culture here in America. Our culture supports a foreign war system where we acquire resources and we value the people that sacrifice their lives to acquire resources and maybe protect our freedom somehow in that whole ball of lies, somehow physically defend our country, and we respect those people and we respect the rights of disabled people. But she, on the other hand, has to create her own story in her own little mind because war heroes with service dogs somehow does not compute with her because they disagree with her. So she doesn't want me to bring my service animal into the meeting because she's a bigot. And these people try to minimize your existence or your even who you are, because they don't respect brown people. They don't respect veterans. They don't respect anybody that makes sacrifices and bleeds to actually purchase a piece of property, live the American dream. They are haters. They're not living an American dream. Karen Veely doesn't own property. All these people are broke as hell. And we're struggling. I'm struggling myself to stay afloat, but I'm still trying to do stuff from our community other than tear it apart. People here are building our community. She is not. She tears it apart. So naturally, I called her on her bullshit, because we're tired of people tearing apart Oceano. And we're tired of outsiders coming in trying to make decisions for us people. Us brown people too, because we can make decisions for ourselves. I'm pretty sure of that. So once she starts respecting people of a different culture, okay, the American culture, the reason why it's called a culture is because it's a cult. Learn the English language. And there's a surety behind it. That's what the sure is, the ending, okay? There's a surety behind that cult, okay? The way you measure that surety is the laws that are backed up by its government. And there's a law that says, there's a surety that says I can bring my dog, anywhere the fuck I want. You know why? Because there is this guy called, what was his name? I don't know. There's a famous general, and he had a famous dog, and he got to bring that dog everywhere. Who was that? Who was that famous general? He was a big pussy. So I got to bring my dog wherever I want, because Donald Trump said so. Sheriff Ian Parkinson said so. Dan Dow said so. So you know what? I don't give a fuck what you say, Julie Tacker. I'll bring my dog anywhere I want. Okay? So what I found out was, and this is the most disturbing thing I found out about having a conversation last night with Aaron Oaks and 2 other people, is she's done this to them too. She's created stories out of thin air and reported them to the authorities several times. And they don't even bother going and bothering Aaron Oaks or other people anymore, because they know it's so frivolous. They ask her for evidence and she has none. Okay? And the problem is the meeting she talks about and the article she wrote about me, you can actually watch the whole video of the whole entire meeting. There's no disruption in the meeting. You can actually see what I said. But they're banking on you not going and watching that video, because people are lazy. So they're going to go ahead and write whatever they want about you. So Mrs. Tacker has done this to more than one person. She's done this to Aaron Oaks. So is Karen Veely. They just make up facts, whole cloth, okay? So this is the problem here. What I found out about Mrs. Tacker, this is her common behavior. She just makes up stories out of thin air. If you don't agree with her, or you criticize her, or anything about her, she's going to go ahead and make up a lie about you, print it, call the authorities on you, try to paint a picture that you're the unstable person when she is, because you disagree with her, because you happen to be a shareholder, because you actually have to have some respect for people other than yourself. She doesn't, and this is the problem. And she doesn't recognize her pecking order in society. Nobody cares about what she has to say unless it's valuable. And most of what she says, 90% of what she says, or she comes in the meeting and demands, is not valuable. It's just incessant demands to harass the board members and to do self-promotion, because she is a politician. People don't realize that. Her and her husband have this grand idea of turning our airport into a mall or some development. This is how crazy they are, without anybody's permission. Okay? These are the lunatics we're talking about. So I don't understand why this lady is not in jail yet either. Both Kevin P. Rice and this Julie Tacker should be in jail with all of their false statements to authorities. I don't understand why they aren't in jail for perjury, because these people are the most dishonest people I know, and there has been countless stories written about these people. Why aren't these people in jail yet? That's what you got to ask yourself. So this is why I'm being so critical about this community. The people responsible for prosecuting these people are in bed with these people. Cal Coast News, Kevin P. Rice, Julie Tacker. I mean, these are all conservatives. And Dan Dow needs to distance himself from this whole Cal Coast News bunch. They've already been sued for libel civilly, and they lost. Hell, if you watched the they accused Adam Hill, poor Adam Hill, even though he's a reptilian. That poor reptilian, she took Adam Hill. She just dragged his name through the cleaners on based on false evidence, all these false accusations, and you should have seen her attorney that wasn't even prepared for the arguments in appellate court. This lady didn't have any evidence at all, Mrs. Veely, for her statements, what she did to Mr. Adam Hill, the reptilian. So there we go. I just don't think she knows he's a reptilian yet, but now that you know Karen Veely, that's what it is. She's a reptilian. I know you can't put your finger on it. I hope you guys are enjoying my videos, but seriously, we need to put Mr. Dan Dow on notice that we're not going to stand his cozy relationships with all these characters from Cal Coast News. Because we pointed him out. Now that I heard that 2 other people have pointed him out, actually 3 other people have pointed out to Mr. Dan Dow, all these people and their behaviors, their illegal behaviors. He needs to distance himself from these people now that he is aware of this. Go infantry or go home.